Hello, I've got a question for you. What if you're ready to start some deep inner work, but you're not ready for a coach because that requires some vulnerability, and maybe you can't afford something too expensive, and maybe you like to dip your toe in the water first in doing your own self-study work? I'm Dr. Deborah Lukovich, and I'm a depth psychology coach, author of Your Soul is Talking. Are you listening? And host of Dose of Depth podcast. So I've got an answer for you if you're ready to do inner work, but you want to start on your own. So I'm a coach, but I'm also a teacher, and I've been called a cheerleader. And I found a lot of humor during my own midlife unraveling and reconstruction, which coincided with this mysterious calling to get a master's PhD in depth psychology. I lived all those crazy concepts in real time. So I love creating content that's also free and affordable. And I use my own vulnerability and I share in ways that get you used to the idea of maybe being able to explore yourself and withstand the vulnerability. So, how can you start on your own? Well, I created this thing called a depth psychology resource guide. It's on my store. It costs just $7.99, and I'm going to tell you what you get in it. So, over the years, because I like to create and I like to overshare, I have created hundreds of blog posts and articles and podcast episodes and YouTube videos, and they range from very instructive to entertaining. And basically, I use my own experience and I illuminate depth psychology concepts so you can have an example or a template of how to do this for your own. So, how do you start or how do you use the depth psychology resource guide? Well, here's what I put in it. It includes some concepts, depth psychology concepts, which in depth psychology, as a reminder, is the study of the unconscious. And you may be familiar with Carl Jung. He's one of the founders of the study of the unconscious. So it includes that. And it also includes a couple of worksheets that you can use. One is how to apply my 5-step framework to not only exploring your unconscious, but to gaining the insights. And then what do you do with the insights? You need to integrate them into your life. So it includes that last step of, now you have the insight, but what do you do with it? And the other worksheet is to help you use the associations method to explore images, like images that come up in dreams, or how to explore an emotional reaction or a conflict you had with somebody. Or maybe one day you see 12 white cars and you want to know, how do I find the meaning in that? So you can use those worksheets. And then I have a very large table of contents with lots of topics. So it's organized by topic. So how do you start once you purchase the Depth Psychology Resource Guide is you let your unconscious choose and you skim through the table of contents and you see what pops out at you. And then you'll go to that area and there'll be lots of links to a particular blog post, article, or a podcast video or episode or a YouTube video. So now what are the topics? So it's the resource guide is really like a library, but because of the links that are there, it's not that long. There's hundreds of links in the resource guide though. So the topics are so many that I'm going to read from my list. But I mentioned concepts, so depth psychology concepts, and there are also links to other resources not written by me. So, for example, there's a couple of great books written by Carl Jung to start with. Modern Man in Search of a Soul is one of them, and so is Memories, Dreams, Reflections. So, those are two books that often my clients might start with. And a link, for example, to Robert Johnson's book called Inner Work, which is where I sort of found the foundation of how I work with dream images, for example, is sort of rooted in his work. Another topic is your body, how to harness the wisdom of your body, and then also how to use breathing and meditation in order to get that deeper connection. All of my work is driven by Carl Jung's theory of individuation, which is the process of consciously coming into relationship with your unconscious. And It's a meandering journey, but there also are some components that end up showing up. So there's some information on that. Also, dreams. Dreams is probably the number one way that my coaching clients like to work with their unconscious. The deeper meaning of relationships. I have a framework that I call 3 Ps, and that teaches you about how do you discover the deeper meaning behind your relationship, underneath the surface of your relationship, and how does projection work, and then also how does our clinging to the need for the relationship to last get in the way of honesty and growth. Also, I love Jungian film theory, so I have links to various blog posts and YouTube videos about that. And then two biggie topics would be the connection between sexuality, spirituality, and your creative expression, as well as the intersection between politics, depth psychology, and spirituality. So I've started going there over the last couple of years. And then also a lot on our inner feminine and masculine. So those are all the topics that you can wade through and see what pops out at you. And you may actually, through your self study, begin to see themes and begin to sort of craft your own curriculum through the Depth Psychology Resource Guide. Or maybe at some point you'll be interested in email coaching. I do coaching just via email with people in writing and then also in virtual sessions. So, are you ready? Are you ready to do some inner work on your own and allow your unconscious to start guiding you? And are you ready to just start anywhere? So again, it's a very affordable resource. It's $7.99. You can find it on my store at deborahlukovich.com. And yeah, so I hope that you'll take advantage of this affordable resource to start exploring yourself. And also, if you like this video, like it, subscribe to my podcast and my YouTube channel, and go to my website, deborahlukovich.com, where you can subscribe to get my newsletter, which always includes a lot of links to new free content and content that's affordable. So take care.